Upstage Entertainment Group, industry leaders in student performing arts championships, empowering the world's student performers to passionately celebrate the joy of competition with honor, hosting events in premier venues and on virtual platforms. Upstage enables student performers to compete like athletes for the first time in history.
Welcome, everyone, to Upstage Entertainment's We Funder launch event. I'm Lisa Marr, and on behalf of the Upstage Entertainment team, we're so happy you could join us. That was DJ Zo Crazy of Florida A&M University, who entertained us at the beginning. Wasn't he awesome? DJ Zo Crazy is one of the 8 finalists in our National Collegiate Performing Arts DJ National Championships. We'll be crowning a winner next month, so stay tuned for more information. Thank you, Jensen, that's his real name, and good luck in the next round. We have a great event planned for all of you and look forward to sharing more about Upstage Entertainment and the opportunity available. But before we do that, I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to Upstage Entertainment's founder, Stephen Hartman. Many of you know him already, and if you do, you'll know that Stephen is the ultimate Renaissance man, a brilliant businessman, an experienced entrepreneur, a gifted athlete, a talented musician, a visionary leader, a tireless networker and fundraiser, a tenacious and dedicated worker, a positive and generous soul. Honestly, if he weren't such a kind and caring friend, I'd probably have to hate him. But instead, like many of you here, I've been compelled by Stephen's vision and enthusiasm to get involved with his latest, greatest, and groundbreaking venture, Upstage Entertainment. Stephen is a Wall Street veteran, having worked in private equity for Apollo Management and in investment banking for Lehman Brothers, among others. He's also a lawyer who represented sports and entertainment talent and businesses, and he spread his entrepreneurial wings when founding the U.S. Sports Film Festival. He holds dual bachelor's degrees from Penn and its vaunted Wharton School of Business, a law degree from Villanova, and of course, his most important degree, an MBA from the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University, also my alma mater. We're fortunate to have him leading the way in creating this truly revolutionary company. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce the founder, chairman, and CEO of Upstage Entertainment, Stephen Hartman.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm not sure I fully recognize the person described because it's such a kind, compassionate, really Kellogg'ian type intro. And Lisa, of course, is one of the many Kellogg alums involved on our team and as advisors and investors. And Lisa, of course, as many of the Kellogg's on here know, is fairly well recognized in the Kellogg and NU Medill communities as a pretty remarkable corporate strategist. In any case, it's great to see so many friendly faces, so many longtime supporters and partners out there, some going all the way back to our US Sports Film Festival. And thank you again, DJ Zo Crazy, our National Collegiate Performing Arts Ncpa Southwest Region Champion, and one of our 8 Ncpa DJ All-Americans. And his music, his passion, just speaks to what Upstage is about, empowering these student performers with similar opportunities to student athletes. So what are those opportunities? Well, I think about the opportunity we didn't have in the 80s in performing arts in college and high school. I mean, I actually grew up in a performing arts family. Piano teacher mom for 50 years, sister was a performer. Parents literally force-fed us opera and arts just years out of the crib. And for a while, I did it all. Played piano, I started piano, played trumpet in jazz bands, concert bands, marching bands for years. Acted in plays, actually did the leads in Alice in Wonderland and Music Man, and sang. Oh, I sang at age 7 in music class, competing to sing the loudest. So much so, I was punished by the music teacher, put in the corner, had to face the corner for singing too loud. That was because I just loved competing. And sports had that. It had the infrastructure, the competitions, the recognition, not available in performing arts. So ultimately in high school, I turned completely to sports. permanently muted that trumpet, only acting the clown in the locker room. And my mom used to lament, he never sang again. So when I got to Penn, I was an athlete on the crew team and did a little bit of wrestling. But lo and behold, junior year, I stumbled on a cappella, and it just spoke to me. It was like a modern way version to bring me back to my performing arts roots. So senior year, I got up the nerve up and tried out for the preeminent group on campus, the Penn 5000. I'll never forget, 2 days after that tryout, those leaders came walking all the way across campus, 10 blocks, to my off-campus house, because there was no cells or internet at the time, and knocked on my door just to tell me, Steve, you have a nice voice. If you weren't a senior and there were more groups, we'd take you, but you're going to be on the waiting list. But I realized if college and high school back then had more performing arts opportunities, had more competitions, even just the infrastructure, if it had more opportunities to represent something beyond just yourself in a performance, like representing the school, or had more opportunity to feel part of a bigger community, I never would have left performing arts in high school, and I would have been there in college too. So those are the opportunities that we are providing now. And what are those three? To perform on a national stage, compete with honor for national championships, glory, and the recognition that these kids deserve. To proudly represent the university, the school colors, the Penn Quaker across the chest, just like the athletes. And ultimately, the opportunity to be part of something larger than themselves, a cohesive community, like the Ncpa, our Upstage Ncpa community. And this opportunity that we're talking about for the kids, it also extends to this investment opportunity, which is one like we've never seen before. On the one hand, you have the 480,000 NCAA athletes generating $14 billion. And on the other hand, you have these 7.5 million college and high school performers. There are millions of friends and family and fans, and tens of millions of alums, that whole universe, completely fragmented, unmonetized white space. So you've got 20 NCAA sports over here, and you've got 25 performing genres over here. You've got 25,000 NCAA teams, and here you've got 400 to 500,000 performing arts groups. You know, sports versus performing arts comparison is like Hong Kong real estate. It's like real estate opportunity in 2020 Hong Kong compared to 1840 Nebraska. So the sports industry is like the Hong Kong real estate. So valuable, but there's nowhere to build. Everything is taken. You either have to take somebody else's or build up. The performing arts industry is like the Wild West. You just show up and you plant your stake in the ground and build. And you can build the events, the content, the data, the recruiting websites, and own it all. So it's exciting. We're literally building the universe, the competitions, the community, the culture. The biggest comment I get from investors or potential investors, and many of you know this, you say, you start saying, I can't believe, and I finish your sentence, you can't believe no one has done this. And then you ask, are you sure no one's done this? Well, in fact, we have begun to do it. In 2 years, in as difficult an event world as you could possibly imagine, as we couldn't imagine, we built the base. And what is this base? 3 things. First, we've developed the core competency around cutting edge March Madness Performing Arts Championships. Cutting edge Performing Arts Championships. No one has done this. So we started out with our live step championships at the Lincoln Center. Many of you attended that 2 weeks before COVID. February of 2020, with Tufts crowned our national champion. Spectacular event. COVID hits in March, 2 weeks later. Handed lemons, we made lemonade. We pivoted and we produced the biggest college virtual championship ever, performing arts or sports. This was our Ncpa College Acapella Championship. Then building on that virtual model, we built the biggest college DJ championship ever, again virtual, but it's forming the base for future events because it's virtual early rounds leading to live championship. That's events. The second thing we've done is we've built out assets beyond events. We're talking about the hub platform of content, data, and IP. Content, we own this dynamic content, some of which you're going to see a little bit later on, but you can see it on the web, from the events, from the virtual competitions. We're basically getting it for free. The data, owning the 7.5 million college and high school performer market, the data around that, and the literally millions of friends and family and fans and the tens of millions of alums. We've begun to build out that CRM. And then third, the IP. It includes Upstaged trademarks, Ncpa, National Collegiate Performing Arts trademarks, National High School Performing Arts trademark, IP protection on that, and then attempting and working on process IP too. Then finally, and probably most importantly, we've developed a strong, cohesive team, highly credentialed. Nike, McKinsey, Starbucks, they come from at a fraction of their prior salaries because they're passionate around the vision and also because they value the equity. It's also a particularly diverse and inclusive team across age, gender, geography, ethnicity, and background. And it's not diversity just for the sake of diversity, but it's diversity because it's good for us. It's good for the business. It's good for decision making. And it also reflects the reality of our performers, our fans, and the broader world. And then critically, many of our team have worked successfully in the past with me and with each other on everything from the US Sports Film Festival to other properties. And they've learned to work very seamlessly virtually. So let me introduce this all-star team. I'm fortunate to have our co-founders here, Peter May, Victoria DeRue, and Connie Sue, joining us. Peter has been a friend going all the way back to that high school experience in Newton, Mass. He's a much more highly accomplished musician than I was, Yale educated, also a whiff and poof, but a true leader in higher education as a general counsel, advisor, and investor. Peter?
Thanks so much, Steve. As all the registrations for this event were coming in, my heart was warming. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. As Stephen mentioned, I've spent the last 25 years working in the higher education space as a senior executive and general counsel. I also have a background as a musician and vocalist at the college level. When Stephen first came to me with this Upstaged opportunity in 2019, I immediately recognized what a powerful initiative this is. In particular, with my background, I recognized that our mission and vision and programming are perfectly aligned with the student affairs and alumni relations and donor cultivation needs of colleges and universities. We give them incredible content and stories to share with these important constituencies. So in addition to some of the other data opportunities we have, I believe we can really help the colleges and universities up their game in this important area. Finally, as a proud parent of 2 college performers who were recent grads, I can say without hesitation that we would have loved to have something like Upstaged in the picture as they were going through their college journeys. So I'm very proud to be here as a co-founder, investor, and now a member of the senior leadership team. And I want to thank Stephen for the opportunity. And back to you, Steve.
Thank you, Peter. Always count on those hometown Bostonians to have your back. So now, fellow co-founder, Victoria DeRue, Many on here know Victoria, certainly. Renowned model and talent industry executive for many years with elite model management. And just as Upstaged are breaking talent barriers, Victoria has been known for breaking barriers with talent, in particular with curvy and South Asian models, and working with luxury brands. Victoria?
Thank you, Stephen. Yes, my background, of course, scouting, developing, and booking talent. So without a doubt, high school and college performing artists around the world are the untapped market. But yes, the last frontier of pure talent. Upstage is providing them the opportunities to perform like athletes. So insane. I'm so proud that we're not only providing them the opportunities, but also introducing them to the business side through our internship program. I was an intern with a prestigious modeling corporation in the entire world, so I get a little bit of the process. But our incredible interns are actually there now. So give us a big wave to Eli, Stevie, Sarah, and Jonathan. Thank you for your hard work and dedication for Upstaged. Thank you again. Stephen?
Thank you, Victoria. And then a fellow co-founder, Connie Sue. She's a Kellogg MBA classmate and close friend going back 20 plus years. We've worked on many deals, projects, US Sports Film Festival together. She's a Hollywood film producer, an executive with DreamWorks, Warner Brothers, and AMD, and involved from the very beginning with us with operations, strategy, and other. Connie?
Thank you, Steve. And hello, everyone. Steve and I have collaborated on a number of projects through Kellogg, through the Sports Film Festival, and now Upstaged. And I'm really excited to be part of Upstage because of the community that it creates for performing artists, as well as the opportunity that it gives artists to be recognized for their hard work. Also, it gives us the opportunity to really galvanize and to really reach an untapped market. So I'm really excited to continue our long collaboration, and thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, Connie. Next, we have our key management leaders. Nick, starting up, our entrepreneurial COO from McKinsey with the CEO and COO experience in education and visual effects startups. Fernando, truly our do-it-all CMO from senior marketing roles at Nike, WWE, and Sesame Street. And then Lisa, who you met earlier, key strategy advisor, recently more active with us in strategic roles, and comes from a strategic consulting and executive roles with Starbucks, PepsiCo, and The Economist. So then we have our team leaders across different functions. Starting out with Kevin, leading our DJ and other events, has filled multiple roles with Upstage and is a serial entrepreneur, a CEO investor in many startups. Debbie, leading talent, 25-year-old New York City talent manager, caster extraordinaire. The words can't get to them, simply aren't in her vocabulary. Tom, leading sponsorship and marketing initiatives. He's a 30-year entrepreneur and film festival owner and sponsorship executive. Lauren, leading university relations, so longtime nonprofit communications and marketing executive. Leslie, another one of our talent management directors, done remarkable things with our DJ competition. And with Debbie on the East and Leslie on the West Coast in LA, we've covered the whole country. Then Whit, some of you will recognize as Kellogg's former alumni relations and alumni development head. It's a longtime nonprofit fundraiser and WIF, who is helping us with the fundraising. And then Arun, another Kellogg classmate, tech consultant, problem solver, has helped us leverage, and among other things, has helped us leverage an outsourced Indian team. So great. We've talked about the championships and we've talked about the talent. Now we'd like to bring some of those of you who have not attended our events or participated in the events into our world. Let you see it for yourselves. So I'm going to start out with a clip from our Ncpa Step Championships at the Lincoln Center. So remember, this was February 2020, just 2 weeks before COVID. At the country's biggest performing arts venue, the Lincoln Center, we brought together 14 top college teams to compete for our National Collegiate Performing Arts Step Championship title. Now, I could share about the incredible national champion Tufts group that wowed everybody. Had the Brooklyn Steppers who'd come in to watch this event just saying, who are these kids? Where did they come from? But we're going to share something we find even more special. It's a clip from one of the underdogs. The Divas Have Mercy from Mercy College, Little Mercy College. You're going to watch them battle in the 5th place match, not the championship, the 5th place match, as if it's life and death, because top 5 became designated Upstaged Ncpa College Step All-Americans. Want to roll that?
We just placed in the Upstage competition. We're super excited. We did not expect this.
Let's go, Mercy.
From Mercy College, Divas Have Mercy!
I think it was just our passion and our intensity. Like we really came to win this. Like every practice we had, we put 100%. We had practice 6 to 11, 5-hour practices, 6-hour practices. Practicing while you're driving, practicing while you're walking. You're stepping, you're walking. You're stepping, you're walking. Like we literally live and breathe this.
I practiced it, I performed it sometimes, but this was like the first time that it counted. It was a big deal.
Put your hands together for your winner, Mercy!
Everyone's just going crazy right now. It's super amazing to have this.
Wow, I never tire of watching that. I probably watched it a dozen times. Just brings back memories of those kids hugging us backstage, and then ultimately seeing articles bragging about them being Step All-Americans, Upstage Step All-Americans, and calling us, when's the next competition? So then we moved on to our Cappella Championship. So week after the Step Championship in March, as we know, COVID hit and the live event world just completely shut down. We ultimately watched large companies like Live Nation lose 90% of their revenue, and some smaller companies event companies go under. So as we mentioned, handed lemons, we made lemonade. Produced the biggest virtual college championship ever, sports or performing arts. This was our Ncpa College Step Championship. From 5,000 college groups nationwide, we brought together 64 in a March Madness meets Pitch Perfect type bracket. Now, with no paid media, we had over 150,000 votes, 60,000 viewers, and 500 plus media hits. They were ranging from Bloomberg to Broadway World and a 4-minute NPR Morning Edition feature in there. The clip we're going to show you is from our selection show. It's kind of like a March Madness selection show announcing the groups that they had been selected. It's going to give you a feel of how it feels from the performer's view. The group you're going to see is from BYU, and their competition video, The Circle of Life, which already had 6 million views before the competition. BYU made our Final Four, and they lost to Vanderbilt. Let's roll it.
Of the world's most decorated college a cappella groups virtually come together to compete for over $10,000 in the biggest international college a cappella championship event in history. Now let's reveal seed number 2. It is Brigham Young University's very own Vocal Point.
So our charity, I believe, is the NAACP. It's a charity that's been around for a long time and known for strides in racial equality, and that's what we're all about. This music video represents us in a lot of different ways. Our really talented director, Ncpa, arranged it. It's magnificent, and equally magnificent is the video itself. Oh my gosh. Just the salt flats of Utah, when they are reflecting the mountains, it is something else to behold, and this video is beautiful musically and in its video. Well, I gotta say, I think that our video is also beautiful, but I also saw theirs, and theirs look pretty good too, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun to compete.
Again, a clip I never cease to become tired of watching. So finally, we're gonna have a live performance here. In addition to our competitions, we've also produced showcases. as we did the biggest college holiday show at Carnegie Hall, which some of you attended, and had discussions with PBS on future holiday type showcases. The showcases have also included virtual showcases, as we did for Women's History Month in March with our 31 for 31 empowered women who got their start in performing arts. We featured one a day here. For example, we had Meryl Streep from Vassar who got her start in a cappella. Lady Gaga at NYU got a start in music, and our new Supreme Court Justice at Harvard got a start in theater even. In addition to the celebrities, we also featured 7 current star college performers who have had an impact. And these were really great ones. We have one of those here today, Drew Korn, singer, actor, writer, triple threat from my alma mater, Penn. She was a soloist for our campus favorite. They had it when I was there, Penny Loafers. Not just an accomplished performer though, she was a campus performing arts leader. Among other things, she oversaw the campus a cappella council of 15 groups. And actually there's 3 others outside, I guess called renegade groups. There's actually 18 total. And we're talking male a cappella, female a cappella, Asian male, Jewish a cappella, African a cappella, Disney a cappella, anything and everything. My God, Drew, if they had that many groups there when I was there, I wouldn't have been on the waiting list to get in one. In any case, Drew is so gracious to join us here today. We're excited. Please welcome and enjoy Drew Korn.
Hi everyone, and thank you, Stephen. I'm so happy to be here today. Performing in the arts means so much to me, and what Upstage is doing to bring attention to what we do and give performing artists the opportunity to showcase and compete is wonderful. So thank you so much, and thank you all for supporting Upstage and performing arts. Yeah, as you said, I'm going to be singing one of my favorite songs, "Dreams" by Fleetwood Mac. Now here you go again, you say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it, but listen carefully to the sound of a loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad, in the stillness of remembering what you had, oh, and what you lost, and what you had, yeah, and what you lost, oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Say women, they will come and they will go, but when the rain washes you clean, you'll know. No, you'll know.
Thank you, Drew. That was wonderful, really special. To finish off on our talent, we have, bringing back, I should say, DJ Zo Crazy, Jensen. So we heard him spin to start. Now to close out our guest talent, we're going to bring him back to share a few thoughts. You know, his energy and his passion for his craft and his marketing, his performing arts marketing sense just has blown our team away. So Jensen, how's it going with the competition, with Upstage, anything?
Yes. Thank you, Stephen. First of all, I'm so blessed and honored to be here. The competition is going great. I'm excited to get it started. Literally like an hour ago, somebody was asking me when it's going to be starting back up. So excited for that. For those of you who haven't been introduced to me, I am Jensen Sapri, also known as DJ Zo Crazy. I am a graduating in 3 days biology pre-medicine senior at Florida A&M University. I also was able to get involved with the campus radio station, become program director. I'm waiting to hear back from medical school. So I have a couple of things going on. Wow. As I related to your story about being an athlete and wanting to sing and things of that nature. But I'm so appreciative of Upstage for this opportunity. These things never happen, to be surrounded by so many people who appreciate the craft, who would give us this platform, to really be celebrated it means a lot to me. So I want to thank you and the rest of your team. And like I said, I'm excited to get the competition started back up. So for all of you all, stay tuned, and you will be seeing me soon.
Thank you, Jensen. It's hard to believe, but it's almost even more impressive than your DJing. I didn't even know about the med school part. Very impressive. So as you can see, we've got the performer talent, we've got the base platform, and we have the cohesive team to make this happen. So where do we go from here? This crowdfund, this fundraise is without question our tipping point to the next level, to scale Scrappy. So where will we use the funds? First, we'll be building out a 2022-23 event season to become an annual season, just like NCAA sports. So we'll be building out a fall and spring competition season with a cappella, stepping, DJ, and some new genres. But the really exciting thing is that this is going to culminate in a South by Southwest type festival championship weekend, a trade show festival championship weekend in May or June of 2023, with multiple performing arts championships. So think a Woodstock meets spring break in June, a lineup of college performer competitors and their friends, family, and fans and alums, almost like Kidstock, you could call it. But the additional business angle and what builds the Upstage value is the conference trade show part of it, because trade shows have value and sell for multiples in and of themselves. And this will be around the student performing arts industry. And we're in deep discussions with partners, including NAMM, the biggest music industry trade show, who we're going to having a big powwow with next month, along with the biggest sport, one of the bigger sports marketing agencies to pull this all together. Secondly, owning data and content. That's going to be our second use of the funds in terms of building what we're going to build with. And think again, as I said, 7.5 million college and high school student performers and their millions of friends and family and fans, and tens of millions, literally, of alums, this little universe here. So whereas sports data, in college sports, data is extensive. College, high school performing arts, 4,000 universities, 26,000 high schools, 400,000 teams. There is so little data. If you want to find out how many sports any college has, you can go right to Wikipedia and find it in 30 seconds, any school. If you want to find out how many performing arts groups any college has, good luck. There is no athletic director to help you out. You call and say your child wants to attend a school, they'll send you to student affairs, they'll send you to the music department, and ultimately they'll say, did you look on our website? And you won't find it there either. So there are a few efficient ways for the Boses, for the Warner Musics, to get to this universe of 7.5 million social media savvy kids in their universe. We've built the initial database on this. It's not huge, but it's better than any other out there. And we're going to use funds to accelerate the building of this, to own this universe. Ultimately, you monetize this data through licensing, sale, and our own internal use. But the data also gives insights into this community that no one else has been able to get. Then finally, we'll pick one initiative from what I call our unlimited Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory of possibilities. Because this is such a white space opportunity, any successful, profitable sports business model is a candidate to superimpose on performing arts, and frankly, any entertainment model to superimpose. Our business plan outlines so many opportunities and proposals that have been put in front of us, from NIL, name, image, and likeness, recruiting websites that are in sports. Why can't you do that in performing arts? NFT, IMDb, superimposing on college and high school performing arts. Very exciting, and opportunistically, we have and will consider. But you just rest assured, we are going to remain laser focused on our knitting, on our events, content, and data to own this universe. So given that, where are we going? 2 to 3 years, what's this going to look like? Again, in threes. First, we're building a modern, diversified performing arts platform hub right here. In the 80s, you had sports ones like that developed like this, the IMGs and the CAAs, International Management Group. diversified sports platforms that owned the events, they owned the talent relationship, and then they had a marketing machine vehicle. We're on a similar path in performing arts. We've already built out the events, started building out the events that we own. We have the relationships with more talent than anybody else does on this level. And we've built out a marketing machine with the universities, or started building out with the universities around the college and high school performing arts, leveraging their resources. Secondly, we're going to look at growing revenues. Under NDA, we have a comprehensive 20-page business plan that's researched and footnoted to the T. But in sum, over the last 2 years, we prioritized growth over revenues in conjunction with our advisors. That said, we established and improved the base revenue event model. That's registration fees, ticket sales, sponsors, and small broadcast. Now, that revenue model expands with resources. And in this coming year, we'll be building that out through our South by Southwest Championship, which also facilitates larger sponsor and larger broadcast within that, and larger ticket sales and registrations. Ultimately, 2 to 3 years out, the revenue models expands into that data monetization that we've discussed. Clothing, uniforms, 1/3 of the cheer revenue, cheerleading business revenue, and then that Wonka possibilities, 1 to 2 of those among the IMDb, NIL, NFT possibilities. 2 to 3 years down the line, we're a likely acquisition target. We've referenced Varsity Cheer being sold for $750 million to Bain. Now, COVID delayed us a year on this path, but if we build, as we've outlined, and continue on this path, the Disneys, the Live Nations, the CAAs are likely going to come calling. They're not competition. They don't do the hard work building these type of things from scratch. Like pharma, they acquire. They look to acquire the successful ones and overpay for them. Now, I'm not certain that I'll want to be out then, or our team does, because we're passionate about it. But that doesn't matter whether we want to stay in. We're going to prioritize the investors and the liquidity opportunity as soon as is reasonable possible. Speaking of investors, I'd like to introduce Upstage lead investor, Doug Scher, who's been a longtime partner, co-investor with me on deals and opportunities going all the way back to our U.S. Sports Film Festival. Among other things, Doug was founder of the acclaimed Marvel Experience. He's the world's first hyper-reality tour featuring the licensing of Marvel characters with premium investors around that. He's also the COO of LiveX Media, sports lawyer and agent, and just general sports and entertainment investor. Doug?
Thank you, Stephen. So I thought it might be valuable for prospective investors in the audience to hear from someone in their shoes. And although I'm obviously much closer to the day-to-day action than many of you, as you can see from my official Zoom background, I initially got excited by Upstage because I recognized the performing arts genre was perhaps the last bastion of unclaimed real estate in student competition, in student community, and of course, its resulting data. Now, as a former college athlete myself, who spent quite a bit of time on campuses around the country recruiting athletes as future management clients, I recognize both that look in performers' eyes, as well as the entertainment, enjoyment, passion, and inspiration they deliver to faces in the crowd. And perhaps most importantly, how critical this genre is to the future of our culture, which I think many of you parents would agree with me, is arguably dying a slow death by 1,000 snaps and TikToks. Creating a hub for all student performing arts is not only a unique business opportunity, but a gift to the performing arts community at large. Now, before I turn this back to Stephen, I'd just like to say a few words about him from an investor's perspective, where we typically bet on founders and management as much as concept and sector. Having worked with Stephen multiple times over the course of the past 15 years, including serving on the aforementioned board of the U.S. Sports Film Festival, I admire his perseverance, focus, and unwavering commitment to the success of his ideas. Stephen's everything we look for in an entrepreneur and a founder. He's a passionate, dedicated, competent, experienced, and connected leader, and someone who believes in and practices what he is peddling. Back to you.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you for playing such a key role as the lead investor. And again, this equity crowdfund is our tipping point, make no mistake about it, and you can help us. And this is not charity, as you know, and it's not a donation. It's getting ownership ultimately, but it is support for us, and more importantly, for performing arts and for opportunities for the kids like the ones you've seen today. Funding, as we all know, is for performing arts is down, with about 80% of schools nationally losing funding over the last 20 years. So performers need the Ncpa, need these competitions, need Upstage now, really more than ever. Our goal in this crowdfund is about 1 million. We'll get to 150,000 before we launch to the public. So this is the end of our friends and family discount round on the platform. We already have 50,000 in addition to the 650,000 we've gotten from the friends and family off the platform before we really started. So the bus is already rolling down the hill, but we need it to accelerate. We need it to just roll down and run over Wile E. Coyote. So to tell us a little more about the crowdfund, Fernando, our CMO, our do-it-all CMO. Fernando?
Thank you, Stephen. And thank you everyone for joining us for this special day. And it's special because obviously for us as Upstage for launching our investment initiative with our friends and family. But more importantly, it's a special day for the performing arts, for collegiate performing arts and high school performing arts and collegiate and high school performing artists. We're very happy that we're able to launch this in support of the initiative that has gathered so much attention. And we're so proud of the people that have dedicated time and energy to this. But we wanted to introduce you to our partner, wefunder.com, that we've decided that this is where and how we want to raise the money. And this is what's going on here. I'm going to share with you right now the screen with WeFunder so you can see what they're about. If you go to their landing page, what you'll find at wefunder.com is an exceptional array of unique businesses and categories that you're familiar with, but then you wouldn't know that these businesses exist for that. But their motto is to connect people with their passion. And more importantly, their existence is to help people find those passions that they can connect with, but also obtain an equity part of that business. So unlike those previous crowdfunding sources that you would look at more as a fundraiser or a donation, this is an opportunity to invest and get equity in a business. And that's why we're so happy to be a part of them. They've invited us, and it's unique when you think about what they're about. If you go to their landing page, as I'm sharing with you right here, you'll find businesses, for example, in medicine or animal care, and you'll find doctors that are right now trying to find a cure for cancer for dogs. If you go to education or artificial intelligence, you'll find a team of engineers and educators working with converging artificial intelligence to provide 24/7 education globally. If you look around, you'll find so many businesses that are so exceptional and unique that you don't realize, and yet at the same time they connect. And so the same thing happens with us. If you go to our page on WeFunder, and I'll show you that right now. If you go to wefunder.com/upstage, what you find, and unfortunately, I think my face is blocking part of that. Let me get that out of there. But what you'll find is that we are very unique in the category. There isn't anybody else that's trying to provide more than an aggregator, a hub for the performing arts in college and high school, for students to have a platform to showcase their talents, as well as to compete, as well as to just get the opportunity that they've been for so long overlooked. And we're providing that today, and we're very happy about that. And the other thing that happens when you go to our Upstaged page and you decide to invest, whatever level there is, they go for a small investment, but they're also accessible for larger investments. And we know that today we have people here who are looking to invest $10, $20, $30, $50,000. We've already talked to a few of you, and we're so honored that you want to go that deep. Just so you know, we also have our COO, our CEO, and myself there to provide any type of, for lack of a better word, a concierge support. So should you not want to just lay it into the website, but talk to us about it, please contact us first. Let us know what you're doing so we can also provide you with guidance throughout, and as well as update and what you want to hear more in more detail. And so, but if you go to the site, you'll find a presentation, you'll find our deck, you'll find a Q&A, you'll find our team, you'll find a lot of things there. And we're very proud to show you that. But one of the things we also want to let you know is within 30 days, we're now going to expand this to the general public. And at that point, it's no longer friends and family equity, but it becomes a broader chain. And we've already seen really positive response. I'll give you a personal example. I'm on LinkedIn, and I have over 1,000 colleagues that I connect with and that I have connected with over time. But I put a query out there. I asked them, how many of you or your family are in the performing arts? How many were in pep band? How many were in the marching band? How many were on stage performing? DJs, etc. I got 160, specifically 160 responses from people that said they were involved or their children were, or their adult children were at this point. And that to me as a marketer, obviously, is a prospective person that wants to invest, but that wants to follow, that wants to be a part of what we're doing. And I'm looking forward to now sending them the Instagram updates, sending them our social media updates, sending them invitations to our podcasts and maybe panel discussions and other things that we have on the horizon. And with that also, I think I'd like to introduce you to our website, upstagedu.com, where you can become a member of our hub and also start getting more information and invitations directly to what we're doing and how we're going to be expanding. So I want to thank you very much for joining us, for hearing about our partnership and why. And I welcome you and invite you to invest in Upstage and more importantly, invest in collegiate and high school performing arts and artists. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Fernando. Just a point of clarification. WeFunder selected us as they only get paid if we have a successful raise. So the process is a little bit like an underwriter for an IPO where they diligence us, we diligence them, and they come to the conclusion that we're a good company to bet on. So our team stands ready to navigate WeFunder. We've got Nick, our COO, and Fernando, our CMO, to help with any questions. So we've loved sharing our vision and our work and our team with you today. Before we close this part of the event, I want to just mention that after our final special performance, our team will stay on to answer any questions on Upstaged, on the crowdfund or anything. You know, any question is fair game. Transparency is one of our key internal and external commitments, internally to ourselves and externally to you. So please remain on if you have any questions or just like to talk to the team. So as I mentioned, we've got 25 plus performing arts genres for competition. One of those genres is bands. And if like me, you enjoyed watching the Final Four in basketball, the March Madness tournament, we featured all 4 of the Final Four bands on their Saturday of their Final Four, hours before the basketball championship. We had Duke, Villanova, North Carolina, and Kansas. And you can see the articles in Broadway World on them. So I want to turn it over to Debbie Gans, the talent director, to do the next intro justice. Debbie?
Thank you, Stephen. I am sure many of you will recognize our next guests, the NCAA champion Kansas basketball band director Sharon Toulouse and the NCAA champion Jayhawks basketball pep band.
Hi, we could not be more excited to be here with you tonight. Thank you, Upstage, for bringing attention to opportunities to the performing arts and these awesome kiddos behind me here. I'm going to let somebody way more important speak, and I'm going to give it over to Cale Duffin. He's one of my drummers with the pep band.
Hi, guys. Thank you, Ms. Toulouse. Being a part of the national championship and getting the team and the fans excited with our music was amazing. I love playing, having the opportunity to play, and being a part of a competition of that caliber was just absolutely unreal. Thank you, Upstaged, and everybody here tonight for helping to create more opportunities and memories like that one. So here's a little bit of what we do. Take it away, Parker.
Wow, what a way to finish the formal part of our program. Thank you, Jayhawks. We at Upstage Entertainment love this quote from President John F. Kennedy. I look forward to an America which will reward achievement in the arts as we reward achievement in business or statecraft. It's been nearly 60 years, and we're finally working to bring that attention and reward to performing artists.